A call tonight for Singapore to recognise the serious damage that harmful online content can inflict on people and society if its laws are not up to date. The remarks by the Communications and Information Minister come as the country inches closer to passing laws on online safety. Social media services may have to disable access to harmful content on their platform. Now, such content includes those advocating self-harm and physical or sexual violence.
The entities controlling the biggest and most popular online communication services or platforms accessible in Singapore all operate outside of Singapore and fall outside the legal remit of the Broadcasting Act today. To ensure that Singapore users of these services and platforms can be kept safe, we must be able to take appropriate action on these entities as long as they provide content accessible by Singapore users.
Mrs. Teo noted that jurisdictions such as the UK, the EU, Germany and Australia have introduced or proposed new online safety laws. Under Singapore's proposal, social media companies will be subjected to a code of practice created after engagements with major social media services like Facebook and YouTube.
In today's context, we are dealing with the vast volumes of user-generated content. Rather than chasing individual pieces of content, we must ensure that systems and processes to regulate the content are put in place and maintained by the platform. Instead of prescribing how these systems and processes are set up, we should specify the outcomes they ought to achieve.
These outcomes are that such services must minimise Singapore users' exposure to harmful content and allow users to manage their own safety. There must also be additional measures to protect children. They must also make it easy for people to report harmful content. And the firms must provide transparency on how effective their measures are, including information that reflects users' experience on their services.
On the proposed online safety bill, MPs asked if private communications should also be included. The frequency at which the bill be reviewed was also brought up in view of the fast-changing online landscape. Geraldine Yap tells us more.
As reported by the BBC,
MPs who spoke were largely supportive of the bill to offer more protection against harmful online content. Some even felt that the law should cover private messaging channels, which could be used to share objectionable material.
the law excludes bullying that takes place among a group of children where one or more children bullies one child on a chat group, on, say, the victim's Instagram page. How to deal with this is a very difficult question, and I confess that I do not have a legislative magic bullet to suggest here. I would suggest that for now, the problem can be addressed through education, and would like to call on MOE and MHA to explore this.
MPs also asked how frequently the law will be reviewed, given the speed of technological advancements and the dynamic nature of the digital ecosystem, like the emerging metaverse.
As we look to a possible future of Web 3.0, where data and control become decentralized, going just after a couple of online communication service providers operating in the Web 2.0 world may not be effective enough. Hence, we will need to ensure that our legislation and enforcement capabilities are updated in a timely manner, so that, while we don't want to be over-prescriptive, we are also not too big a step behind these technological developments.
Would the Minister consider the formation of a council to formulate and update the code regularly to keep up with technology trends? Such council can comprise of service providers, regulators, important law enforcement or community stakeholders.
And when it comes to protecting the young, one member asked how service providers will be required to perform age verification checks in practice.
Some internet service providers do provide parental control tools which block harmful content before they come through the fibre. However, they require a separate subscription that entails an additional cost each month. Many parents aren't even aware of this service. It will be better for internet service providers to block harmful content at the network level by default, rather than expect parents to set up complicated filtering software on their children's devices.
The debate resumes on Wednesday.
By default.